less. Don't be a drag, participate. Clamps on the half shell and roller skates, roller skates. Good times, these are the good times. Leave your cares behind. These are the good times. Good times. These are the good times. Are you staying alive? These are the good times.
I'm gonna take myself a piece of sunshine and paint it all over my sky, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. I'm gonna take the song from every bird and make them sing it just for me, yeah. Birds got something to teach us all about being free, yeah. Be no rain, be no rain. And I think I'll call it morning from now on. Why should I survive on sadness and tell myself I've got to be alone? Why should I subscribe to this world's madness, knowing that I've got to live on? Knowing that I've got to live on. Knowing that I've got to live on. Yeah, I think I'll call it morning from now on.
Oh my goodness, good morning. It is Thursday and we're off tomorrow because it's 4th of July. Harry, I'm gonna take tomorrow, and then I'm gonna take Monday too. You heard me? I'm gonna take Monday too, Harry. Make it a long weekend. Because I'm off Monday from everything else. I figure, well, be off from this. No internship tomorrow or Monday because federal government. So long weekend. Well, I think I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna take it. And then Harry, I'm off the whole week the following week. So I'm gonna take we off the 3rd. I'm gonna take the 6th. Make it a long weekend. Hey, if you're up early, I'm Babz Rose Ivy. Welcome to LoveBabz LoveTalk. It's hot. We are in a heat wave. Oh my Lord. Woo! I'm not complaining. I'm right now it's 76 degrees. It's 6:30 in the morning. And we are still in extreme heat warning. These conditions are expected to last until Saturday night, 4th of July. Hot. 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 We might see some rain tomorrow. Might see some rain Saturday. We'll see what happens. It's hot. It's all right. We're going to live with it. We're going to take it. I don't hear nobody complaining because I can post up some last winter pictures of all the snow. I could do that. I absolutely could do that. I could absolutely do it. I could do it. So we'll see what happens, Babas. We'll see what happens. So yesterday for my internship, um, I had to go up to Wyatt. It's a private prison, private maximum security prison. It's got all the barbed wires all around it. It's an old prison, but it's wrapped tight in barbed wire. And it's a private prison. So it's an ICE detention center too. Going in there, I haven't been in a prison in like 18 years. So, hearing all the clanging, banging, changing, ganging, it's just unnerving. It's really unnerving. But I stayed cool, calm, and collected. I did. We had to see 4 clients, 4 very different clients. I'm not going to talk about them because that wouldn't be appropriate on air. But I will tell you, 4 different people. There are monsters among us. There are real, honest to God monsters among us. And they present well. And monsters often do. It's only in our imaginations that they get, wild. But monsters are among us. And I think I was supposed to learn something yesterday. Like I was confronted with something that I've never been confronted up close like this. And I think there was something in that for me. Some childhood haunt. And I came face to face with it, and it was just, I knew it. I was like, I have to process this, So I'll think more about it in the days and weeks ahead. But I knew, you ever get these moments where you're like, I've developed my intuitive muscle and my self-actualization muscle. And so when I come across people, places, or things that vastly affect me, I immediately go into contemplative and discernment. I don't mess around. I just go right into a contemplative mindset and a discerning mindset. Because I like to get to the heart of whatever it is coming up. I don't like to drag it on. This is why I'm not a drug addict. This is why I'm not an alcoholic. This is why I don't have all the things that people have when they come from a great deal of trauma. Now I got some wounds, but they don't drive the bus. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna take this into I already taken it into contemplative and discerning space, just to like roll back in my mind what was it? What's the thing? It was very interesting. But there are monsters among us. And they do not show up as monsters. They do not present to the world. They present until they are found out to be monsters. They present like ordinary people. So I'll say that. So yeah, so it's a 2-hour ride to Wyatt. It's a maximum security prison. It's got, I mean, it's got they've got video. They got rooms where they become little courtrooms, so that you could, if you're locked up, you could sometimes you can still make your court hearing, or you could talk to your attorney via Zoom and all that kind of stuff. And then the interview rooms or the meeting rooms have big ass computer screens. So I don't know, all kinds of stuff could go on. But it was an experience. It was exhausting. It was a long day. It felt like a very long day. And, it was just 4 different people on my brain. Very different. 4 different clients. Nothing connects them except they were all in that space. They were just all in the space. So today I've got a lot of work to do. I've got stuff that's due. And then I've got, I think, court And I got to put on some very comfortable shoes to walk up and down the street. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put on something very, very comfortable. I might put on white pants today too, as long as I got a jacket. So it might be white pants and a jacket and a shirt. You know what I mean? Like it's hot. It's very, very hot. So yeah. So that was very that's what it was. I had bestie dinner last night. We had some steaks. I buy these Costco steaks, these grass fed, ready to go steaks. They're already cooked, just to heat them up. And they're very, very good. I left a pack over at Ife's house, but I might run to Costco and get me some more. They're very good. And I made mashed potatoes. I've been on this mashed potato vibe. So I've been eating a lot of mashed potatoes. And then some broccoli. On a broccoli vibe. So yeah. Listen, it's hot. Very, very hot. Very, very hot. I don't know what's going on in the world. I guess I didn't realize Taylor Swift was getting married. She's getting married at Madison Square Garden. I just was not realizing she was getting married. I knew she was engaged, but I was not thinking she was getting married. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, it's not my business. She's a grown ass woman. What she wants. She don't need my permission. But I was just like, I don't know. Maybe I didn't know she was engaged. And I just was like, wow. So yeah, she getting married. She getting married in Madison Square Garden. I think this weekend or tomorrow. I think, yeah. So that's impressive. So, okay, girl, go ahead. She married a football guy, right? Kelsey, whatever his name is. So she's getting married. Go ahead, Taylor Swift. But Madison Square Garden just seems so unromantic. But you know what? They could design and hook up all kinds of stuff. So we'll see what happens. God bless her. God bless her. God bless her. So, there was something else that I wanted to bring to the light. And yeah, Travis Kelsey. I knew it was something. Travis Kelsey. He's a good looking guy. He used to date a black girl. He was with some black chick for a minute. They couldn't oh, so they're building a castle. See, listen, when you got money, you use it. Do what you want to do. Although she struck me as a destination kind of chick. But I guess New York City is a destination if you're not from New York City. If you say, hey, I'll get married in New York City. I don't know. Listen. That's just I can't wait to see the pictures, I guess. There'll be pictures. They'll hire all kind of photographers and somebody will get access. You know what I mean? And it'll be in Vogue or something. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. None. So I'm looking forward to it. I love seeing people get married. I marry people. I'm a justice of the peace. I marry people. I will definitely marry you. I love marrying people. Alternative to the Bezoses, I guess. It's all money to me. If I got married again, I don't know what I would do. I think, you know what? I don't know. I think I would have a big, fancy wedding. I think I would have a big, fancy wedding. But I didn't want to plan it though. Like I'd have to hire people to do it. Don't ask me nothing. Don't ask me to pick nothing. Don't give me 8 choices of napkin. Don't do it. Just like, here's my vision. That's it. Don't ask me because I wouldn't be good at that. Too many choices get me itchy. That's why I got married the way I got married. I was like, oh, I can't. I couldn't pick a dress. I couldn't do. Oh, it was just too much. So, but I love going to weddings. I love when people, like my sister had one of the best weddings. I've been to a gazillion weddings, but there's only been a handful that I absolutely just hands down just love, 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 love. Yeah, I would probably do a Bridgerton styled wedding. I would do that. That would be kind of cool. I'd either have a yeah, I would like a Bridgerton because lots of flowers, everybody in big dresses. Yeah, that would be my vibe. That would be my jam. Florals all over the place, classical music. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that. I would do that. I would do that. So, uh, yeah, I think that's what or I would, I wouldn't mind a Martha's Vineyard wedding. That would be nice. Definitely a destination wedding too. Like, I would get married in Marrakesh. It's beautiful there. Uh, in the desert or on the grounds of John A. Thompson. Uh, yeah, but that's unlikely. I never say never. I mean, there are some things I'll never do, but like I'm never parasailing, I'm never skydiving, I'm never cliff jumping. I'm never doing any of that stuff. Like I'm not even interested in that stuff, and I'm not even afraid. I just don't see the point of that. The older you get, the closer you get to the grave, the more you're like, I'm not going to help it. I'm not going to help death along. I'm not going to help death along by doing death, death, death inviting things. Now anything could be a death inviting thing. I remember some years ago, my sister got me hooked on 1,000 Ways to Die, which you know I I watched it a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? I got to leave this show alone. This is too much for me. All the ways that people could die, all the ways that people died. I was like, no, that's way more than I could. So I'm not one of these people who's gonna help it along. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna help it along. No, no siree. No siree. I'm not gonna help it along. So I like an adventure. I just don't like a death defying adventure. I'm one of those people, you know. Wow. Oh, thanks for sharing this. 250 in Black, the secret slave massacres that started America. So, months before America declared its independence, the founding fathers planned two slave massacres that pushed the wealthiest slaveholding states closer to the patriot cause. Because, that's what white people would do. They would use black people as bait. Oh. So, anyway, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impelled them to the separation. So we're all at the 250 celebration. So, and in this piece that my sister sent me, this week you will hear stories about a nation founded by Christian white men who fought against tyranny to ensure liberty and justice for all. If you're lucky, a historian may even mention that a black man was the first casualty in this revolutionary quest for independence. And yes, some of that narrative is true. You can read the actual letters between the founders to confirm their opposition to tyranny and oppression, while very few professed to have had the Holy Ghost. George Washington often swore upon his honor and faith as a Christian. So we know the story of Crispus Attucks. You know that the first black guy who was killed in the Boston massacre because a liberty-loving rebel named Samuel Adams named the historic event. Paul Revere never uttered the fictional phrase, "the British are coming," but he saw posters of the Attucks shooting. White folks gone white, I'm going to tell you right now. Whether it was Jesus, taxation without representation, or the tyranny of a king 3,000 miles away, you don't have to believe what anyone says about why the 13 colonies split from Britain. The reasons are listed right there in a little known document called the Declaration of Independence. So this is also why you have to believe some of the things they say about America. You could have read how the founders opposed slavery if they hadn't removed it from the original draft of the Declaration of Independence. Neither the original draft, Jefferson's composition draft, nor the final version mentions their position on sugar and grits or going 50-50 in a relationship. Still, the article says, I can promise that there's a subject you won't hear about this week. Although it actually appears on the official list of grievances, your leftist media fave won't bring it up. Your morning news won't mention it, and your favorite historian won't pen an op-ed about it than your favorite newspaper. In fact, none of the founders ever brought up the subject until less than a month before the signing of the Declaration of Independence. 3 bullet points magically appeared on the list of things King George did to create a detestable and supportable tyranny. By inciting insurrection of our fellow subjects with their allurements of forfeiture and confiscation, by prompting our Negroes to rise in arms among us, those very Negroes whom by an inhumane use of the negative he hath, from time to time, refused us permission to exclude by law. By endeavoring to bring to the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions of life of existence. So 2 weeks later, these 3 offenses had merged into one item that appeared in the Declaration of Independence that you will be celebrating. So anyway, what we do here in New Haven, I mean, everybody's got the 250 celebration fever, but the Beinecke, under Mike Moran's leadership, they have read the Declaration of Independence aloud, and then juxtaposed against that is Frederick Douglass's oration, "What to the 4th of July is to the Negro slave." To the slave. What is your 4th of July to the slave? And that was written in 1852, which was 6 or 7 years before the Civil War. You know, because we were enslaved. You know. And then they read something from the articles from the women's piece. So that you see how all these things come together, that everybody was grappling with what to do in this new land, and you know, who gets to be people and who gets to be heard, who gets to be in leadership. You know. So anyway, this piece my sister sent me is really, really a wonderful piece. It's really long to try to read the whole thing, but I just wanted to, you know, give you a sense. But the gist of it is they were considering heavily to kill Negroes rather than set them free, rather than allow them to serve in military status, that they were willing to shoot them. So interesting. So something to think about as we celebrate 1776. We were enslaved, you know. So the 4th of July is, you know, not really our holiday. But everybody wants to get on the American bandwagon. We as Americans, we are. I rightly claim that. My blood, my people's blood is in the soil, so I claim it. I am Western in my education and in my awareness and how I see the world. I see the world through Western eyes. That's just what it is. You know, what is it? What is the to be black in America is to be African with no sense of home. Paraphrase. So that's a real sort of thing that we grapple with as black and brown black people across the diaspora. You know, we we wrestle with that. Yeah, they wanted to kill them to set examples and nudge the states that they were on the wrong side fence about separating from the Brits and the monarchy. And honestly, that's still the same playbook. That's still the same playbook. They ain't changed. That's still the same playbook. Look at the Supreme Court. Look at these red states. It's just they would rather have their citizens starved and poor than to do right by their state. Which is crazy talk to me. Listen, Connecticut, we are the most educated, segregated state in the country. We are still, even with Shep versus O'Neill, we are still very much segregated. You would have thought it's like 18 something here in the 1800s, the way we are segregated. I don't get so riled up by that, the way people would get riled up about it. We could be separate and equal. I know, unpopular. But I just don't think being adjacent to whiteness is the answer. Just make all the schools equally stacked, and then that's it. Because the people that lose out in these kinds of fights is always black people. We must traipse our children across town. We must bus our children to white spaces. Never bring white kids into inner city spaces or predominantly black spaces. It's always we must go. That somehow or other adjacent to whiteness will give us a bigger opportunity at something. So we already, just because I say we live with segregation, that's just what it is. I would rather walk in truth than to keep having these ridiculous conversations about what must we do about segregation, as if we do not know what to do about segregation of education. But we're not willing to do anything about segregation in education because there's no political will to do so. So, with that said, stack all the schools with the same resources, the same stuff. Everybody gets all the same stuff. Same amount of money per child spent in over here in this neighborhood as is this neighborhood. Make everybody's tax dollars equal in the education game, and then see what happens. And I guarantee you, I know something about black excellence, and black excellence will get everybody wanting to be around that rather than getting our kids to whiteness, adjacent to whiteness and the mediocrity of that. Because if you turn us loose and let us do what we know to do, black excellence rises every single time. Every single time. Every black school that you see on the come up comes up. And then somehow or other, they start to look at these black schools, predominantly black schools, And then they start their campaign of dismantling it. We've watched it across this country. We see it in Chicago. We see it in Detroit. We see it in New Haven. As long as they keep black kids in poor ass schools, no one has a conversation except, oh, they're reading below, whatever. But when you start to see acceleration, then it's time to dismantle, not push further. So we can't even deal with the racism of that. So make the schools all equal. Don't bus anybody. Don't think about mixing people. Let it be what it is. You know, you already do it with neighborhoods and communities. You already do it. And you've created rules and laws to curtail the movements of black people. You've done it in housing. You've done it with it's always been done in education. And I don't foresee political will moving toward changing that. And what's the change? What is the change? What do you imagine? There's no vision for this. There's no imagination for it. None. So stating the obvious is just an exercise in every few years we state it. Every few years somebody says, oh, look where we fall in the segregated educational component of what we do in this state. And then we leave it at that. And everybody shakes their head, scratches their head. We must do something. What are we doing? And then we don't hear about it again until it comes up again. I mean, hell, but Chef versus O'Neill is precedent, and we're still in the same boat. We learned nothing. There's no real leadership around this. There's no innovation, no imagination, no what. Connecticut is an education segregated state with all the things that we get right. There's a lot of things we get wrong, and then we sit on a lot of economic indicators that are high up, but we sit on some economic indicators that are very, very low, that rival that of what we consider poor ass states. So, so until we get leadership that wants to address that holistically, then we're gonna get what then we're gonna stay in this particular space. We're gonna stay in this particular space. Yep. And blatantly, you're right, Love. Blatantly executed with this administration and employment. And here's the thing with this president. He has outright said, I don't like niggas. I don't want them working. I don't want them seen. If I could put them on a train to nowhere, I would. This is this United States president. The one who's talking about he spoke with Theodore Roosevelt or FDR. I don't know. He talked to some Roosevelt. They barely. You know what? They taking him back to the residence and putting him on a drip every night just to keep this foolishness going. just to keep this fool. And at some point we should be embarrassed as a nation that we elected a buffoon and a cabinet of buffoons to run this country. And you should be embarrassed and ashamed that we elected this dummy. And he's a dummy to this presidency. No skill set, no unintelligible, doesn't have a good command of language, not well read, not well traveled. He doesn't even eat well, for God's sake. It's like white trassification of the United States. And he speaks to the people who hate what he hates. And they hate it. And grifted $1 billion. He made more money as the president than he has ever made in his entire life. And if that don't give you pause, I don't know what else will. He don't got no respect for women. He definitely doesn't have respect for children. Doesn't have any respect for just he has no respect for nothing. He has no manners. He is uncouth. He is unkempt, and his butt is stinky. That's what I hear. I don't know. That's what I hear. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to have this man as the president. When I go around the world, I know people pity us. See, they don't. When we go around the world as black people, they feel sorry for us. They do. They were like, God, y'all got that? Like, and they start ticking off all the great black people, and they were like, y'all went from that to that. Y'all went from sugar to SHIT. Yeah, we did. We did. It's pathetic. That man stole $1 billion. He treated the White House like a home shopping network. Anybody see Melania Trump? She didn't accidentally fall down some stairs, has she? No, she not. She didn't fall down some stairs. She's still around. I'm so glad the Supreme Court has some sense, and they don't have much. Thank God the three justices who can fight back. Gosh, they didn't end birthright. I'm like, does he not understand? If he ends birthright citizenship, all his kids gotta go. All of them. Ivanka Trump was not a citizen when she had them children. Neither was Melania when she had Barron. I don't know. These people they just, their condemnation is often their confession. It is not often, all the time. When you see them condemning something, I just think, okay, they're confessing to something. What are they confessing to? What they condemning? Because that's the confession. To be so concerned about gay marriage and transgendered people, I spend no time concerning myself about transgendered people. I am not going to wake up tomorrow and say, I want to change my gender. That's not how that works. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and say, ooh, let me start dating women. I know this about myself. I already know. It was not a choice. I was born this way. So when they ask these stupid questions, well, when did you know you were gay or something? Well, when did you know you were heterosexual? When did you know that? When did you choose to be heterosexual? Doesn't it sound ridiculous? And please spare me with all this. I'm going to use the Bible as a weapon. Why? Spending so much time doing the things that are like ridiculous instead of doing the hard stuff of how do we make people's lives better? How do we make people's lives better? I just read a piece on a mayor who let me see if I can find it. Who sleeps at the homeless shelter on Friday nights, to keep the awareness on working hard to help do something to see what we could do about homelessness and unhousedness. And I always say, I wish our mayor, and there's so much I wish our mayor could be, but wishing is free and wishing doesn't make it so. I wish our mayor would have, rather than go bulldoze, have public works bulldoze sites, homeless, where the homeless folks make campsites and all. Instead of bulldozing those sites, go over there and pitch a tent with them and say I'm the mayor of you too, rather than, oh, people whining about it's unsightly and unclean. You could really change the narrative and change your hearts and minds about, make the space safe for them. Make the safe space sanitary for them, instead of, because where else are they going to go? You tear down, destroy their belongings, but you don't offer any place for them to go. That is not leadership. That is, I don't like the optics or the aesthetic of what this looks like in my city. So what I'm going to do is just tear it down and then hope that these people just blend into the ether. That's not leadership. It's amazing to me that we've lost our way in terms of what leadership is. We've lost our way we lost the moral compass, and every day is becoming further and further away. The moral compass, a spine, a sense of what is right and wrong. Like, I don't understand. How do we have a country that was the envy of the whole world, and we got people sleeping on streets and people hungry? How do we have so many churches? And I'm not putting this on churches. That's not, is looking the other way. Everybody is turning a blind eye, and it's just a bother to me. I think about this all the time. Yes, the Mayor Kaufman in Aurora, Colorado. He sleeps there to raise awareness. That is so amazing to me, because that's what I said. Said our mayor should have pitched a tent and said, I'm your mayor too, instead of trying to close down the Rosette Project and the Rosette Street Project by cutting off the power, because the rules. You know what was a rule? Allowing Black people to read. That was a law. Punishable by death. Enslaving Black people was a law. The women not voting was a... Listen, if you're the leader of a city, you have discretion to make all kinds of things happen for the greater good. But when you lack imagination and you just live in a mediocre bubble of thought and action, mediocre, then of course you're going to send public works to bulldoze campsites of homeless people rather than deal with the homeless situation. I know there's a homeless population task force. What are they tasked with doing? What's immediate? I'm not understanding this. I feel like if you were in a position of power, you could do a whole lot. A whole lot. But he's not. This mayor of New Haven is not a bringer of togetherness. He's not a bridge builder. He's not that guy. He don't have it. He never had it. He never had it. Never had it. And I don't know who on the horizon has it. I'm looking. And I'm not really looking, but I'm hoping. I'm hoping. We need a Mondami. You see what he's doing in New York City? Do you see what he is doing? He has funded the public library system beyond his terms forever. Like, it can't be undone. I don't think people understand how libraries are so important to the health and well-being of communities, to the health and well-being of a city. It's beyond the quality of life. It is how we remain civilized. Libraries are the standard bearers of civilization. Why don't we know that? The libraries are not just some cute little niceties, cute little books. Libraries serve a purpose. They are the original Google. They are the hub. They are the lifeblood of communities. They are the hub. Fund them to their capacity and let them do the work of community building. Gosh, we could do so much. I know. We don't got no money. No money. No money. No money. We got money. We got money to do all kinds of stuff. If a pro team came to New Haven and said, help us build an arena for uh this particular team, we would get behind that. We would create all kinds of PR. We would get the talking points. You know how I know? Because we had a whole tennis center. We had a whole women's tennis center. Whole tennis center. What's it doing now? It was built for tennis. Built. Whole. We could have done so many other things with that money. Now listen, I'm not knocking it because I enjoyed watching women's tennis. It was a wonderful idea. Another quality of life. Somebody believed that it would add to the quality of life of this region. And it did for a good while. But guess what it is now? It's a music venue that we can't really access. I don't even know who owns that damn thing. You know, they bring who they want. They bring the acts that they want. We don't got no say in that. You know, I'm just saying. We have the will for some things, but not the will for all things. And to me, we need to shift. Because honestly, we can attract all the people we want, all the intellectual capital we want. We could become the bioscience center of the universe. We could be all the things. Whatever the new thing is, we could create a hub for it. New Haven is good at incubating all kinds of interesting, creative things. We are known for that. But if we cannot shore up our neighborhoods, if we cannot take care of the least among us, then we have failed. We have failed as citizens, we have failed as humans, and we have failed as children of God. That's how I see it. You know, and I know there are people out there every single day in my city, my beloved city, who are working on these issues tirelessly without thank, without accolades, without, rest. They are working tireless on these issues, trying to build bridges to get people what they need with no resources or minimum resources. No resources. And we sit in the shadows of one of the largest, most prestigious universities with one of the biggest endowments in the whole wide world. And for the life of me, I don't know what the endowment does or what it's supposed to do. I used to think I did know, but now I just think it's just a measuring tool for how much money we can amass against other schools like us. And sure, they do some good. Sure, they do some good. I'm not taking away the good that they do. I'm not. But they could do more. We could do more. Everybody could do more. I'm not trying to say do more to the point of your detriment, but something we need a spark of excitement in leadership, We need some excitement to get people out of the poppy field. We need a leader that can be for all, who's not afraid to pitch a tent with the homeless people, not afraid to come down the Ave and get to know people and hang out with people, not afraid to sort of call people out when you're behaving wrong as citizens. Somebody who can coordinate resources to help. I don't know. Maybe that's going on. I don't see it. I don't know. Quality of life is a big deal. Quality of life. World-class education is a big deal. World-class arts is a big deal. Art as an economic driver is a big deal. Capitalize on that. There's so much that could be done. And I think about these things, and I think people should think about these things. Not get yourself worried, because people could get to worrying about stuff, but to really think about, what can I do? Well, how can I help? Who's doing what? And pay attention. And maybe you can't put boots on the ground, but some of y'all can write good ass checks. Some of y'all can write good ass checks. Go outside of your comfort zone and write a check to something other than what you care about. Right? Go see what else you could care about. Let me go see what I could care about. I already care about this. I write checks to this, but let me look around and see where else I could be of a blessing. And I'm talking about everybody. $5 could go a long way to a soup kitchen. No, they would like more money, of course. Is there a drill team that could use a couple of dollars to get juices for the kids when they practicing, or the bands, or whatever? Find some small ways in which the diaper bank could use some money to keep their coffers stuffed with diapers, so that mothers can access diapers, because diapers are hella expensive, right? They are. I know there's a lot of issues out there. There's a lot. But those of y'all that got a little paycheck, a little bit more money than most of us, go help. Look beyond what you already give to. I'm not asking you to give away your store. I'm not asking you to give up your lifestyles and, stop shopping and all this other kind. I'm like, you got a few more dollars somewhere, put it over there. Put it over there, write a check over there. And don't wait till the great give to do it. And, the great give is a good way to learn who is doing what. Every year when we do the great give, and I love, it's one of my favorite things, and I got to do it this year for the first time in a long time, because, I'm usually away for Story Week. It usually falls right around my birthday. So the great give is a wonderful opportunity for me, not because, everybody's like Hunger Games, because that's what Ife likes to say. Because the great give really acts like the Hunger Games, and the people who raise the most money are the ones out there doing the most pimping. Because that's what you're doing, you pimp it. We all pole dancers in the great scheme of things. We are all pole dancing for something or someone or some other thing or whatever. So we all pimp it. So the great give is just one big pimp, which is fine. I don't say that to insult it. I say it to call it what it is. It's Hunger Games / pimping. And so, but what I like best about the great give, not that everybody's giving money, that's not it, but that I get to learn about all the things and places and things that people are doing stuff. And I learn about some new people all the time. And that for me is the real gift of the great give. I know everybody's got to raise money. I get that. But I learn about some other entities that are doing stuff that is near and dear to my heart. And that for me is the greatest gift of the great give. That they, and particularly when they come on the radio show, because WNHH, we dedicate a radiothon, two days, to getting people on in time slots. And we never have enough time slots for all the people that want to do it. So we create our own little Hunger Game within that, and then they got to come on, they got to do a talent. But it is so fascinating to sort of see all the different organizations that are doing some of the really cool stuff to add to the value of our city, of people's lives, the care and the concern, and the fact that they got to be out here, pole dancing for money, is challenging to me. It's just challenging. It's like you see these good organizations, you're like, man, you out here pole dancing because you got to get money. And they're trying to do it. So, all right, Harry. Harry stopped clicking the little sounds. Now he just says bye in the thing. Harry, it's 7:29. I got 1 minute. I'm out. Happy 4th of July. If you're doing something, be safe. Enjoy your people. It's a long weekend. Be cool because it's very hot. Check on your neighbors. Drink some water. For every beer you drink, drink 2 glasses of water so you stay hydrated. Don't be stupid. And just have a good time. Enjoy your people. And if you don't, most black people, we like the July 5th, the day after the 4th of July. We like that. So be safe, be good. I'll be back on Tuesday, Harry. I'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll talk some more.
Please.
Ah, yes.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore dance that has gotten to be a little bit out of control. It's cool to dance, but what about a groove that soothes and moves romance? Give me a soft, subtle mix, and if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. And think of the summers of the past. Adjust the bass and let the Alpine blast. Pop in my CD and let me run around and put your car on cruise and lay back, cause it's summertime.